Okay, welcome back. This 32 and 32 series preview continues, this time with the Boston Bruins. Before I get into the records and their players, they did have the 25th overall draft pick from the Ottawa Senators, Detroit, and Boston. They somehow worked out a three-team deal. Boston would draft Dean Letourneau, a center out of St. Andrews College, and it says high on. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but that must be some type of a league in North America. So last year, the Boston Bruins finished it with a record of 47, 20, and 15. They had 109 points on the year. At home, they were 24, 11, and 6, still very good. And away from home, they were 29 and 9. Sorry, 23, 9, and 9. So above 500 on both occasions. They weren't dominant, but they were still very good. They finished second in the Atlantic Division. They would take on the Toronto Maple Leafs, defeat them in 7 games. And then they would take on Florida in the second round. Unfortunately, they would lose in 6 games to the Florida Panthers. All right, let's take a look and see who is on their roster and who is still there. So when it comes to the forward position, John Beecher has 1 year left to go in his contract. He is still there. Boqvist is not. He has left. Justin Brazeau is going into the last year of his deal. Patrick Brown is in the same boat. Charlie Coyle has 2 years left to go on his contract. Jake DeBrusk has left Boston. I believe he's now in Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. Trent Frederick has a year left to go on his contract, as does Morgan Geekie. Danton Heinen, I'm pretty sure, has left. He also went to Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. Jacob Loco, his contract did expire, but he has signed a 1 year, $790,000 deal, so he's guaranteed to be in Boston for at least this upcoming season. Milan Lucic, because of the off-ice issue he had at the start of last season, Boston didn't bring him back, and I'm going to be completely honest, I don't think anyone's going to be calling on Lucic anytime soon. It's not like he was the player he was when he initially played for Boston and could score 20, 30 goals. No, he's at the bottom. Like, he's on the bottom 6 guy. He's basically like a goon. And obviously because of his off-ice actions, Boston, they terminated his contract, so there's no way he has a future in the NHL after that. Brad Marchand, their captain, is going into the last year of his deal, so I'm sure if he wants to remain a Bruin, he'd love to get a contract done sometime this season. Pat Maroon has gone. He has left Boston. I'm pretty sure he signed with Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. David Pastrnak has 7 years to go on his deal at $11.25 million. Matthew Poitras, I'll take a look and see. He is still there, has 2 years left to go on his entry-level contract. James Van Riemsdyk, now I know he is 34, 35 years old, but I'm a little surprised that no team has signed him. I'm sure during the regular season, someone will pick him up at some point as a depth forward, but just a little surprised no one signed him. But again, I can get 34, 35 years old. Maybe age is playing a factor. Pavel Zacha has 3 years remaining on his contract, and that rounds up the forward position from the roster. Now we'll take a look at the defense. Brandon Carlo has 3 years remaining on his deal, so he is definitely coming back. When it comes to forward, I'm pretty sure he left. He is no longer there. Grizzlejic is also gone. Hampus Lindholm has 6 years left to go on his deal. Mason Lohrei has going into the last year of his rookie contract. Charlie McAvoy has 6 years remaining at $9.5 million. Andrew Peak, I believe, is still there. He has 2 years left to go on his contract. Kevin Shattenkirk is in the same boat as Van Riemsdyk. A little surprised no one signed him, but I can guarantee the factor probably is age. There's no question about it. And Parker Witherspoon has signed a 1 year contract with $800,000, so he's guaranteed to be in Boston for this upcoming season. When it comes to the goaltending situation, Jeremy Swayman still has yet to sign, or maybe he has yet to re-sign, I should say. The only goalies they have in their system are it's a couple of guys from the AHL, and they also have Jonas Korpisalo. Now, for those that don't know, Jonas Korpisalo was traded to the Boston Bruins in favor of Linus Ullmark. So Linus Ullmark is now a member of the Ottawa Senators. So once Swayman is signed, it's not a matter of if. It's once he's signed, the goaltending tandem should be for Boston, Jeremy Swayman and Jonas Korpisalo. So for the Boston Bruins this upcoming season, it's playoffs. Like, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. I'd be very shocked. I don't know if they're going to make first place, but they should at least get second or third. I'd be very surprised if they got bumped down to a wild card position. I've said this in almost all of my videos whenever I talked about the Atlantic, that I truly believe that Boston, Toronto, and the Florida Panthers should be the top 3 of the Atlantic Division when the playoffs get underway in April. So my prediction is Boston for sure should be a shoo-in when it comes to the postseason. And this coming from a Habs fan. Okay, so that takes care of the preview for the Boston Bruins. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.